Hi, I'm Janet Khoshaba with Rewind, and this is Back Up to Level Up podcast, hosted live from Las Vegas at ShopTalk 2026. We're here on the floor talking to founders and operators about their stories and how they've had an impact, and we really want to bring those stories to life and share with you how they've backed up to level up. Day 3 at ShopTalk in Vegas, and I'm here with Amer Grozdanic from Praella. Can you please introduce yourself? I know I probably butchered your name. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little about yourself and your business, please?
Yeah, I am one of the co-founders of Praella and also the CEO. We are a Shopify implementation partner, so we work on anything what I say on site. So we will do anything for our brand outside of paid media. So we'll do anything from integrations, custom apps, UI, UX, CRO. Our kind of claim to fame is come from like two sides. One, we tend to work on very technical implementations. And the other part too is the average Shopify conversion uplift when somebody comes to Shopify is 15%. Our average is 26%.
Oh, wow.
So it's nearly double than what an average implementation looks like. We're also an award-winning agency. We won a bunch of Webbies. Actually, one of your partners, colleagues, Taha, introduced us to Billie Eilish perfumes, and we created an incredible immersive experience and earned a best homepage Webbie for that work. So that was
awesome.
super cool.
That's awesome. Can you talk a little bit about what's the name of Praella? That's a really interesting name.
Yeah, so one thing I wanted to do is like when we're naming it, a lot of companies, which nothing wrong with it, I was just stubborn on it. I didn't want to have something.agency, something.agency.com or whatever. So I was like, how do we create it? But I also want a very feminine name because like, it sounds funny, but I envisioned our brand and our reputation be like Meryl Streep. Like, it's like very, so when people ask me like, if you could identify or personify Praella, I always say Meryl Streep. And the name comes from a Latin word preletus, which means best or preferred. And Ella in Greek means come with. So it means come with the best. And that's kind of like our mantra, like we have to live up to our name every single day.
That's so cool and unique. That's so great.
Thank you.
So let's back up a little now. What really inspired you to start your business? How did you go from your first idea to the first product and the first order, the first sale, and how did that feel?
So I actually started very early, and it was a little bit of rebellious nature. So I developed my first ever website when I was 11 years old.
That's cool.
My dad bought me a computer. We came here as immigrants, and we lived in a little bit of a rough neighborhood. And I'll tell you, I broke a lot of stuff with that computer, and God bless my dad. He was so patient in paying to fix it. But I got online and there was this, I believe it's called Mirts. There was like this chat platform that my sister used. And I went to this like web development channel type of thing and met a bunch of developers, and they started to give me tips how to develop code and everything like that. And I got really obsessed by being able to put something into the computer and create an output. It was super cool, and kind of started to really obsess over it. And then when I got to high school, I kind of focused on sports and other things, and 4 years was a very long time to miss out on technology. And then freshman year, I was like, college is really expensive. So I got back into it, and I quickly learned like I should hire developers and be a project manager. Then SEO and Google paid ads and things like that were very big and very popular. And then one of my best friends, Sam, and we started an agency, made kind of best out of it. And honestly, a lot of failures, but a lot of cool thing is a lot of support from random people. But it's honestly, I was always fascinated by it, and just kind of lean into it at the right times. I would say I worked hard, got very lucky, and kind of chased different opportunities that came up. And years later, Praella came to fruition.
That's awesome. So what I'm hearing is that, you tried a lot of different things, you failed at it, but that's what made you stronger in what you learned, right?
Yeah, so I had a football coach. His name was Gary. I will never forget him. I played soccer and football. I missed, when I moved to Chicago, I missed the cutoff to play soccer, and they let me walk on to the football team. Never played football in my life before, by the way.
Oh, wow.
But I was the hardest working person there is. And my dad always told me, if only hard work pays off, easy work is worthless. So I always give 100% of everything that I do. And Gary, my football coach, pulled me to the side once. He's like, I'm going to give you advice, and you're probably not going to understand it now, but it's going to stick with you. In your 20s, try to do as much as you want, different things, and figure out what you love. In your 30s, become the best at it. And in your 40s and 50s, make as much money with it as possible.
I love that.
It didn't hit me till I was about 30. And his words are still on the back of my head, and it's probably one of the best advice I've ever been given.
Wow, that's so inspiring. Totally, I can definitely resonate with that. So let's talk about the turning point. What actually, you talked about the advice that you got from your coach, but what actually changed that helped you go from trying to actually growing? Was there a specific moment, a decision, or a channel that actually made a difference or an impact in your journey with this business?
Yeah, so my strength, even though I was developed and I was technical, I was never very technical. Like, I mean, I could talk to people, but everyone was better than me. To me, it was always, it took longer, I could figure it out, and then years into it, so I had a SEO agency and a marketing agency. We kind of built websites and stuff like that. We were okay. And then I got introduced to my co-founder, Alan. He's very technical, super smart, super ambitious. And when I was younger, my cousins worked for him, and I always used to talk about him. And I was like cocky and arrogant, I hate to say it, like when I was in my early 20s. And they're like, meet with Alan because you guys can work together and build great things. I refused to do it. Like, I was just dumb. And he reached out to me once on LinkedIn and said, do you want to grab a cup of coffee? Actually in Skokie, where you're familiar with. So I looked at that LinkedIn message for like a few days. I was like, he probably needs my help. Like, I was like, talking to myself. We sat down and we said we're going to meet for an hour. We were there for hours, for 4 or 5 hours. And he also had a business partner at the time, a guy named Lou Morales. He was retired, but he worked for companies like First Data, GE, super corporate guy. And something happened between Alan reaching out, me meeting Lou and Alan, where I matured overnight and stopped being stupid and arrogant. And I was smart enough just to take a seat and listen. And I learned so much from those guys. And I think, not to say I wouldn't be able to get here eventually, but when you have somebody who's very selfless, who's very knowledgeable, where I get emotional talking about it, takes you under their wings selflessly, it's the biggest gift in life.
That's awesome. That's such an amazing story.
Yeah,
oh my
thank
God.
you.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you. Yeah.
So inspiring, yeah. Sometimes you just got to stop and pause.
Yeah.
And be thankful, right?
Yeah, you do, absolutely. And I think, I hate when founders say, and everyone has the right to say they build things by themselves, but like, there's so many people in your journey that shape you. If you give yourself a moment to step back and it's like, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. Like, I mentioned Taha earlier. Taha really put us on the map, like, and you never knew him. We're giving us the opportunity to work with Billie Eilish, and then we got like a bunch of other projects from it. And when I left Bosnia, I'm originally from Bosnia, we didn't have phone lines in my village. And now, 30 years later, I'm building with the most advanced platforms in the world, best technology, with the biggest pop star in the world. Like,
Amazing.
That's crazy to me.
That's so good.
Yeah.
So inspiring, so exciting for you. I'm
It
so
is.
happy for you.
No,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right, so let's talk about now the level up moment. We want to hear something to inspire our audience. Like, you're inspiring me with your story, right? And I'm sure that the audience is definitely inspired. Someone who's either trying to get into the business like yourself and take something away from, what you've learned in your journey. So is there anything or one lesson you give someone starting today, what would it be?
Would be two. There is never a right time to do anything. You just got to do it. Because I think if you give yourself opportunities to do things, you're eventually going to figure it out. The second piece is don't chase perfection. You'll never catch it. There's nothing like perfection. I think the perfect thing is to try. The perfect thing is to admit to yourself that people are always going to be better than you, worse than you. There's going to be a better product. And I think all of that is healthy, because if you realize that you can always do better, you're going to do better.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
That's great. So before we close, where can people connect with you and your brand, and what's coming next for Praella?
Praella.com, Praella.com. I'm on LinkedIn a lot. That's probably my best channel. For Praella, I mean, I hate to get into the word of the decade, AI. But we are really leaning into figuring out what the next model for agencies are. I think a lot of agencies are talking about it. So we're just trying to figure out how do we leverage AI? How do we leverage partners like Rewind to provide more value faster and better for our merchants? That's the most important thing. And I think being at conferences like this, having conversations like this is, I think, the most important thing because things are moving fast.
Totally.
But that's one part, and then the other part is just try to productize our services. We always try to do that, basically making like mini and micro applications for brands. We're extremely grateful for our relationship with Shopify. They opened certain doors for us, and we're kind of trying to figure that out. And here's the funny part is, like what I said, the perfect time we're trying. We've been around for 7 years, and we're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, you're still always learning and growing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So, last question. I know you're from Chicago. What's your favorite deep dish pizza?
Pequod's.
Pequod's?
Yeah,
Okay,
Pequod's. They have 2 locations, one in Arlington Heights, which is near to me, and then I think one is Logan Square, Wicker Park, in the city. And lines are long, waits are long, but worth
the wait,
penny.
right?
Yeah, worth every penny. And they're great. I would also do a bonus. I love Khoshaba, best burger in the world.
Yes.
So those would be my two big recommendations.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It was really awesome and inspiring listening to your journey and how you've come up with Praella.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to see what's next for you guys, and connect with us, and I want to learn more.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Take care.
Of course.